Gentlemen, a lot of your self-esteem issues are closely linked to your excessive porn consumption. It destroys your self-esteem. It really does. It makes you feel like a loser, which in turn doesn't yield massive amounts of action and desire to win. No, it takes that completely away from you. It makes you think, well, if I can't even get a handle on my porn addiction, how am I going to go out there and build a successful business? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? I'm a loser. And you embody that. You start feeling this way about yourself. You start feeling like you're not capable of achieving big things. It's closely linked, which means we must address it. Is it easy? Absolutely not. It's one of the hardest things you can do, stopping pornography and masturbation. But can it be done? Absolutely. It can be done. And it all starts with asking yourself, what kind of a man do I want to be? Do I want to be a man that resorts to explicit content online and masturbation to gain pleasure? And it's short-lived pleasure. Seconds. Or do I want to be the kind of man that doesn't need to do any of this? He doesn't need to, because he has a beautiful woman in his life who he has a satisfying sex life with. You know, the question of what would James Bond do? Would James Bond sit there watching loads of porn, or would he be out with a beautiful woman at a nice restaurant and then he takes her back to his place? What kind of a man do you want to be? So you must have this identity in your mind of who you want to be. Picture it clearly. And then reverse engineer it, start taking steps to become that man. Would a high-value man, quote unquote, be sat around all evening doing nothing with his time? Or will he be out there training in the gym? Will he be out there working on his business, networking with people, training jiu-jitsu? What would he be doing? Because in relation to pornography, free time is the enemy. It really is. Free time is your biggest enemy. It's where the devil comes. You're sat around doing fuck all with your time. That's when the thoughts and the temptations start brewing in your mind. Just load it up real quick, just one glance, which then becomes 4 hours. And then you feel guilty because you wasted the whole evening, and then now you're like, man, I'm never going to achieve my goals. And then it has a knock-on effect. It does. Let's not lie to ourselves here. Design the life that you want by taking on board the habits that will get you there. You don't just stop watching porn. You don't just quit. You don't just decide, well, that's it, never again, and then never watch it again. That's not how it works. Especially if you've been watching it every day for the last 5, 10, 15 years. But you can create a life that's so damn exciting because you've got so much to do that by the time you get home, you're just so knackered, you just want to sleep, and you can't wait for the next day so you can do it all over again. Now, I know for the majority of you guys, you've got work in the morning until obviously 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 5:30. But what do you do after work? That's the question. That will determine whether or not you continue suffering with this problem, or you will start taking productive steps to ensure that the frequency of this problem starts to decrease. Because that's how I see success. That's how I see progress in relation to quitting this poor habit. It's by the frequency of it dropping. If you go from doing it every day to doing it once a week, that's significant progress. Then eventually once every 2 weeks, and then eventually once a month. And then it won't be something that you resort to release your frustrations or your... No, look, sexual energy is strong. Right now, though, direct it towards a creative endeavor, something that you're building, and burn some of that steam in the gym as well. And if you're fortunate enough to have an incredible woman in your life, well, recognize that. You don't need porn. You've got a beautiful woman in your life. Develop a close, intimate relationship with her. I know some of you guys, porn has ruined your relationships, but it doesn't have to continue this way. Start recognizing the beauty of the woman that you have in front of you. Porn desensitizes you to this shit. It really does. It makes you see you know, a woman is nothing but just a fuck machine. No. There's beauty about the way she talks, the way she carries herself, her soft feminine energy. She's not just a piece of meat that you use and that's it. No. All right? Your self-esteem will significantly improve once you start to design the life that you want. And look, even if you relapse a couple of weeks into, you know, engaging in a lot of productive habits, it's all right. The important thing is that you recognize that you're trying. Genuinely. You're not chatting shit to yourself. The important thing is that you know you're doing your best. You know what, man? I shouldn't have done that, but it's been 2 weeks. I've been trying so hard. Don't give yourself the permission to do it, but if you end up relapsing, it's not the end of the world. It's not. Get back to it again the next day. Self-esteem is linked to you following through on the things that you said you were going to do. So if you said that you were going to start working out 3 to 4 times a week and you actually do that, well, your confidence will increase. It will. It will. And porn isn't something that you can just tell yourself, I'm going to stop doing it. No. You essentially replace the bad habits, or you add on to your schedule productive habits, and then the frequency of the bad habit will drop. You can't just replace the bad habit with something else. No. But if you start to work out, you start going to jiu-jitsu, you start learning an instrument, you start doing other habits that are helpful, that are conducive to the person that you want to be, then the bad habit will become a distant memory. And also, because you've got a new identity of who you want to be, every time you think of just jacking off all over yourself, you think, man, that's stupid, bro. Why the fuck would I do that when I can go out there and get any woman I want because I'm an attractive guy who takes care of himself? I know it's hard. It's difficult, man. It really is. I see it as, you know, one of the most dangerous things to men today, if not the most dangerous thing, because of how widely available it is. But if you can, a man that can dictate his sexual desires in the way that he wants, or harness them, he's a very powerful man indeed. He really is. The book Think and Grow Rich, which is a book on wealth and success, talks about the power of sexual transmutation, harnessing your sexual energy and directing it towards something worthwhile for you, a worthwhile goal. It's very powerful. Men that are sexually disciplined tend to be very successful men, tend to go out there and achieve a great deal. Men that just fuck anything that moves, even hookup culture is damaging for a lot of guys. It really is. Because it's distracting you away from a bigger purpose. You know, there's been studies on married men making more money than unmarried men. There are studies to back this up. It ties into sexual discipline. You're not all over the place. You're not erratic with your decision making. You know, you don't have a kid by accident because of a one-night stand here and then a one-night stand there. And, you know, you get this STD from this woman and then you pass over to that woman, and you're all over the place when you're sexually undisciplined. It doesn't just have to do with porn consumption. It even has to do with hookup culture as well. Focus. Tell yourself, who do I want to be? Identify that person and start working backwards. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give this video a like, comment, let me know what you think down below. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. See you in the next one.